God, we thank you. We're going to Exodus. Next week, I'm going to start a new sermon series called, watch this, Dear Christians, Stop Acting Like Fourth Graders. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I've been plotting this for a long time. So next week, I'm going to start a new series called, Dear Christians, Stop Acting Like Fourth Graders. Because we grown. But guess how we act? Like children. All right. So hopefully you'll come back and hear this sermon. Today I'm coming from Numbers chapter 20. I'll actually be dealing with Numbers chapter 20, verses 1 through 12. Numbers chapter 20, verses 1 through 12. Here's what it says. New Living Translation. It says this. So Moses did as he was told. Beginning at verse 9. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come and gather at the rock. Listen, you rebels, he shouted. Must we bring you water from this rock? Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with the staff. And water gushed out. So the entire community and their livestock drank their fill. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, will not lead them into the land I am giving them. Here's what I want to talk about today. Stop going down when you should be going up. Stop going down when you should be going up. All right, so here's what's going on in our world. I mentioned a minute ago that what's been trending on Facebook and Twitter, even the president of these United States of America has something to say concerning this. The Ray Rice and Janae Rice situation. TMZ can get to the bottom of anything. TMZ puts out a video of the elevator situation between Ray Rice, football player who played for the Baltimore Ravens, and his wife. Here's what he did. He engaged in domestic violence. He did what he should not have done. Some kind of argument ensued, and as a result of the argument, he decides, or he thinks, that the best decision for him is to hit the woman that God placed in his life. Didn't work in his favor, not working in his favor, because right now he's dealing with the decision, the bad decision. Everybody say bad decision. He's dealing with the bad decision that he made. Now, here's what we must understand. Let's contextualize the whole situation. If you saw the video, and they don't know, I saw the video several times. If you saw the video, we see them on an elevator. What are elevators designed to do? Take you higher. So here's where he was. He was on an elevator. He's in a situation that is designed to take him to another level. He's in a situation that is designed to take him where he's trying to go. He's in a situation that is designed to take him from where he is, watch this, to where God wants him to be. He's on an elevator. But here's what he does on the elevator. He makes a bad decision. Everybody say bad decision.
Bad decision.
Come on, say it again. Bad decision.
Bad
Y'all gotta get this. Say bad decision.
Bad decision.
I'll say this one more time. He's in a situation that is designed, created to take him higher. He's in a situation that is designed to take him to the next level. He's in a situation that is designed to make him better. Because watch this, the higher up you go at hotels, the better the rooms are. And I'm sure he's staying probably in the penthouse suite. But guess what he's doing on God's elevator? Making bad decisions. I'm preaching up in here.
Yes.
And because he's making bad decisions while he's on the elevator, guess what? While he should be going up, guess what he's doing?
Going down.
Going down. Because his NFL career didn't just start when he got on the elevator.
Yeah.
He's able to be on that elevator because of what God placed inside of him, because of what God has empowered him to do. So here's what I want to talk about today. Those of us who've been empowered to do some amazing things. Those of us who've been empowered to do some great things. Those of us who are metaphorically on God's divine elevator. Because guess what God wants to do in your life? And your life? And your life. He says, I would above all things that you will prosper and be in health even as your soul prospers.
Yeah.
He says in Jeremiah, I know the plans that I have for you. Guess what my plans are? To prosper you and bring you to an expected end. Which means here's what God is doing. He picks us up, puts us on his elevator, and he puts us, watch this, in situations. The job that you're working on, the relationship that you're in, the home that you're in, the community you're in. God puts you there because here's what he's trying to do. Take you higher.
Yeah.
He puts you there because he's trying to take you to the next level. Guess what? There's more to what you're doing right now. But you will not experience the next level in its totality if you make bad decisions right now. That's it. That's what this sermon is about.
Yeah.
That's what this sermon is about. Because this has been in my spirit. God says, I'm going to put you on an elevator that's designed to take you higher, take you to the next level on your job, in your relationship, in your finances. Here's what you're going to do that you should not do. Make a bad decision.
Yeah.
Y'all with me?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it one more time because I want y'all to get this because this has blessed me all week. God says, I'm going to put you on an elevator, which means this. You don't have to take the stairs. I'm going to make the situation sort of easy for you. Because here's, if we were to be honest, God is blessing us to do some stuff that we know we should not be able to do. And we haven't even broken a sweat yet. He has you on an elevator. But here's what we're doing on the elevators. Making bad decisions. I'm going to chill with her, though I know I'm married. I'm going to take my anger out on her, though I understand I should not hit women. We're on God's elevator. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. That's design. All you got to do is do this. Touch the button. And guess what you're going to do?
Go up.
Go to the next level.
Yeah.
But here's what prohibits us from being able to experience and enjoy the next level. The bad decisions that we make. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this. I didn't decide to start calling it bad decisions somewhere around 11 o'clock. Because at 9 o'clock, I was saying it's a dumb decision.
Yeah.
But here's what I said I can't come to first start to say. I don't want to call the decisions that we make dumb. Because y'all gonna think I'm attacking y'all. I don't want y'all to think I'm attacking y'all. So I'm gonna call it a bad decision. Really what I'm thinking, it's a dumb decision. Because God says, I'm preaching. God says, I'm gonna bless you. I'm gonna put you in position to achieve your dreams, to achieve your goals. You're on the elevator.
Yeah.
But you're gonna do something stupid.
Yeah.
See, you're gonna make bad decisions. God's looking for a generation of people that's going to recognize where God has placed you and stop making bad decisions.
Yeah.
I'm actually biblical. I'm biblical because talking about Moses, here's who Moses is. Okay, if you know anything about Exodus, you've read about Moses. Moses is God's chosen, God's anointed. He did not grow up he wasn't born in the best circumstances, but here's what God did. Put him in a better circumstance.
Yeah.
Moses gets the opportunity to grow up in an elevated situation. He makes bad decisions. But here's what God does. God places him in another situation that despite he made a bad decision before now, that'll still take him to the next level.
Yeah.
I talked about that last week. Because I got kicked out of school, though I grew up in a home where my mom and daddy told me what to do that was right. I didn't necessarily do what was right. So I made a bad decision. God still put me on the elevator again.
Yeah.
That's what Moses is. All right, so Moses is in a situation that guess what God is trying to do? Take him higher and higher and higher and higher to the next level. That's what's going on in the text. Because at Numbers 20, here's what has happened. Okay, he's had a burning bush moment. That's where God comes into your mundane situation, your everyday situation, and God gives you a better purpose. He's had that. Here's what he's done. He's parted the Red Sea.
Yeah.
Who parts the Red Sea? Who can lift their hands and help people walk on dry land in the middle of a river? Okay, yeah, that's what God helped you to do. He has prayed and God has rained down Bojangles, chicken and biscuits from heaven. Because if you go to Bojangles at the right time when they just made them biscuits, oh, they some amazing biscuits. Whatever, right? It's some amazing biscuits. He has been able to invoke God to do all of that. So it's one of those, you see success after success, you're moving forward. God says, you on the elevator. Trust me. Yeah. Here's what Moses does. Numbers 20, we in the text right now. He makes a bad decision. The people of God are mad with Moses because of their situation. And things don't go like they should. And Moses does what he should not do. God told him to speak to a rock to get water from the rock because the children of Israel need water. He hits the rock, water comes out, which means he gets the result that he wants, but it's not the God-ordained result. It's not the God-ordained way to make it happen. So what can we learn from Moses and Ray Rice when God has us on an elevator? Here's the first thing we can learn. What others do should not pull you out of your godly character. What others do, I just realized that apostrophe behind others shouldn't be there. I'm technical all the way through, that shouldn't be there. Whatever. To disregard that answer. What others do should not pull you out of your godly character. Nothing that anybody else does in your life should stop you from being who you think you are.
Yeah.
Saying something right now. Moses ends up in a situation. Now here's who Moses knows he is, a child of God. He knows he's called. He understands the burning bush moment. He understands I parted the Red Sea. But guess what? I'm in a situation right now that pulls me out of my godly character. How does it pull him out of his godly character? You look at the text, you go back to verses 3 through 5, it says, the people blamed. Everybody say blame.
Blame.
All right. So they walking, they thirsty, rightfully so, and they don't have any water. They need water. Verses 3 through 5. That's what they're concerned about. We need some water, Moses. You got us out here. And they're trying to figure out, how am I going to satiate my palate? All right, so they thirsty. And they what? Blame Moses. Now, here's the thing. That word blame, here's what that word blame really means. They attacked Moses. They began to argue with Moses. They began to quarrel with Moses. Really, it's a legal term. Y'all still with me?
Yeah.
It's a legal term. It's almost like they bring a lawsuit against Moses. Moses, you brought us out here, and they're going to sue Moses for not being able to do what they thought he should have been able to help them do. And here's what Moses does because of what the people are doing. He comes out of character.
Yeah.
He does what he should not be doing. So I'm going to cuss you out. I know I'm a child of God. I know I'm a man of God. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to cuss you out because here's what you've done. Attacked me. You quarreling with me. I feel like you're trying to take me out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of character. How many of us do that?
Yeah.
Because of what we perceive other people doing. Here's what we have to understand. When we come out of godly character, we're giving them power. Because no human being should have, I'm preaching right now, no human being should have enough power to pull you out of your godly identity.
Yeah.
Our inability to remain who God has made us to be has less to do with who they are and more to do with who we aren't.
Yeah.
We'll say that one more time. Our inability to remain who God created us to be has less to do with who they are and more to do with who we are. Because here's who I think I am. I'm Moses. Okay, all right, okay. I told you I was part of the Red Sea, right? Okay, I didn't say this. This dude that climbed the mountain and got the 10 Commandments. We all talk about the 10 Commandments, okay? Right? We talk about the 10 Commandments, right? Okay, so he's gotten the 10 Commandments. This dude has seen God. But guess what he's doing? He's acting out of character. Because it's not about who other people are, it's about who he isn't. Guess what he is? Everybody say small.
Small.
Inside. Because you can be big on the outside and still be small inside. And if you're small inside, guess what small situations are going to do for your life? Make you small.
Yeah.
You'll buy into it. How many of us are there? Here's what we say. Man, you don't know what she did to me. Here's what Ray Rice is saying. Dude, you making millions of dollars. She's even trying to say, I spit on him. Okay. Maybe. You spit on me. Okay. Janae Rice. She's saying she spit on him. Here's what a spit on me should not make me do. Come out of character.
Yeah. That's right.
Nothing that somebody else does should be able to pull me down to their level.
Yeah.
Y'all ready for this? Because this blessed me in my study. The only person who should make you do what you don't want to do is who?
God.
God.
Ah.
Y'all should clap for that, right? Because that's good. That's good. No. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time and y'all going to clap for that. The only person who should be able to make you do what you don't want to do is God.
Yeah.
Your creator. The one who provides for you. Nobody else should be able to pull you out of character.
Yeah.
That's number one. Y'all still with me?
Yes.
Here's the second thing. There's more power in your positive words than your hands. All right, so we on the elevator. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to solve the problem with my hands. Because when I tell y'all he knocked her out, he knocked her out.
Yes.
Domestic violence is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. He knocks her out. It's like, dude, what you thinking? He hit her twice. It's like, okay, you did it the first time. Dude, you gonna do it again? He's using his hands. Here's what Moses is dealing with. Moses is in a situation where God says, I want you to speak to the rock. All right? If you speak to the rock, if you deal with the situation with your words, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you what you need. I'm going to give you what you're looking for. Y'all still with me?
Yes.
Here's what Moses decides to do. Moses decides to use his hands to deal with the situation. Why? Because he fails to realize there's more power in your words than there are in your hands.
Yeah.
Ray Rice uses his hands when really all you gotta do is have a conversation. You can get more done with the conversation than you're gonna get done with your words. I'm sorry. You can get more done with the conversation than you're gonna get done with your hands. Ray Rice uses his hands. All right, okay. I thought about this. Here's what's going on with, are y'all ready for this? I feel like I'm preaching harder than y'all standing man because this is a quiet church. Here's what he's doing. Watch this. Y'all ready for this?
Yes.
Because this is not the first time that he had to use his hands. Because in Exodus, we in Numbers today. In Exodus, he has to use his hands. Exodus 17. Which is shortly after he leaves Israel or Egypt, which means he's in his adolescent years. He's a child. He's young. Guess what young people do to resolve an issue? Use their hands. Watch this. Y'all ready for this? Children fight. I'm going to say it one more time. Children fight. Adults understand the power of words. So when Ray Rice is using his hands to resolve the issue, he's at an adolescent stage. We need to understand the power of our words. Because here's what God says. Life and death is in your tongue.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. When you have a situation that you must deal with, you must deal with it speaking life on the situation, not speaking death.
Yeah.
Because here's what we'll do. We'll walk to a situation trying to get water from the situation, which is what we want, which is what we need. But we're speaking death on the situation. And God says, I want you to be positive about this situation. I want you to handle this situation as an adult. Because your words are more powerful than your hands.
Yeah.
Last point is this. Never forget, you will always answer to a higher power. Never forget, you will answer to a higher power. All right? So here's what happens. So Moses hits the rock with his hands, with the staff, using his hands. And here's what he gets. Water. All right? What did he want when he started? Water. He gets water. Which means he gets what he wants, though he didn't do what God asked. So sometimes you can do the wrong thing and still get the right thing.
Yeah.
But it's still wrong.
Yeah.
Say that one more time. You can do the wrong thing, get the right thing, but it's still the wrong thing. He hits the rock. He hits the rock. He gets water from the rock. Ray Rice, I'm in an argument. And here's what I get. I get the argument to end. Is that what you want? Okay, you get that result. Does that work in your favor? Does that really get what you're looking for? No. Moses gets the water from the rock using his hands, not his words, and God is disappointed. So here's what God says. You didn't trust me to do what I can do. You didn't trust me to make the situation what the situation needed to be. Because using your hand is me focused. Using your words is God focused.
Yeah.
Amen. Here's what we must always understand. We will always answer to a higher power. Okay, Moses, you strike the rock. Guess what the people do? They see you bringing water from the rock. Okay, you think you dealt with the situation. Here's what God is doing. He's sitting in heaven saying, that ain't what I told you to do.
Right.
And because you have not done what I told you to do, guess what? There are repercussions after this situation.
Yeah.
Preacher right now. Ray Rice thought he handled the situation because he did what he did in February. He went to court, pleaded out. Here's what he forgot. You answer to a higher power.
Yes.
You answer to the NFL. Here's what the NFL is going to do when it's a PR disaster.
Yeah.
I got to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Because that's really what this thing is all about. I have to get rid of you. Because guess what you're doing? Making me look bad.
Yeah.
How many of us are making God look bad? Here's what God says. I know you're doing some stuff in private that ain't come to the light. And I'm letting you do it. I'll wait. You're doing some stuff in private that ain't come to the light. And he let you do it. Comes to the light, God has to deal with it. Because guess what you're doing? You're making him look bad. NFL had to deal with that situation. Here's what we must always remember, which is what Moses had to deal with. God asked him to do a particular thing as his representative. Everybody say representative. Soft music. Talked about this last week. We must always remember we are God's representatives.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, it may be your private situation, but guess who you still are? You're not just Reggie. You're not just Darnell or Samantha. I'm trying to name names of people who are not here. Ain't no Samantha here. That ain't who you are. You are God's representative. You're always a part, watch this, you are a macrocosm for a microcosm. You are a small piece of a bigger puzzle. And here's what we all should always do. Understand that. Because here's what's going to happen. Some's going to jump off. And guess what your company going to do? Some's going to jump off and you're married. Guess what your significant other going to do? Some's going to jump off and guess what God's going to do? Call you to the rug. And you're going to have to answer for what you've done.
Yeah.
That's what this sermon is about. You answer to a higher power. He answers to the NFL. It did not matter how much money he already had. He still answered to a higher power. Doesn't matter how good looking you are. It doesn't matter how smart you are. You answer to a higher power. And when God calls you to the rug, you are gonna have to answer. That's it. And here's the thing. You can have all the talent in the world, but guess what? When you're called on the rug, you can be suspended from your situation.
Yeah.
I'm preaching up there. You can be suspended from your situation. Because here's what you still can do. You still have everything that you need to play in the NFL. But guess what? When you called on the rug, when you have to deal with that situation, you can be suspended, which means you're going to be what? A gifted person sitting at home.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, what else can I do?
Yeah.
That's where a lot of us end up. Because we forget that we have to answer to a higher power. Because regardless of how great we are, there's a greater power that we always answer to. And we must always remember that. You are never bigger than who you really represent. For those of you who were here last week, you remember I put the shirts on and I showed us we always represent God. I may represent a company, but underneath that, I represent God. I may be married, but I still represent God. We always represent somebody that's bigger than us, who has the power to suspend us. Y'all with me?
Yes.
But here's how I never end a sermon here at Fresh Start. I'm never going to end on a negative note, because here's the thing. There's some Ray Rices up in here today. You've made some bad decisions. You're trying to figure out how to deal with your decision. Here's what happens. God says, okay, Moses, I ain't going to let you walk the children of Israel into Egypt. I'm not going to let you do it.
Yeah.
That's what the text says. You're not going to lead him into Egypt. Ray Rice, you're suspended indefinitely. That's what indefinite means. For an unspecified period of time. That's what indefinite means. It does not mean you can never do.
That's right.
What you could possibly do. Now here's what we are. We may be Ray Rices today trying to figure out what tomorrow holds. Because God had us on the elevator and we made some bad decisions. So we're going to deal with Moses. Okay, Moses, you ain't going to be able to lead the children of Israel into Egypt. So Moses is wondering, will I ever get to experience Canaan, which is what I dedicated my life to? Here's what God says. All right. You got to pay for what you did, because there are consequences for our mess ups. Don't you ever forget that. God says this. New Testament. Jesus is on something called the Mountain of Transfiguration. He's in Canaan. About 1,000 years later. A man by the name of Elijah shows up. And guess who else shows up? Moses shows up. Which means this. God says, I'm going to be gracious to you.
Yeah.
You messed up in a major way. But guess what I'm going to still give to you? Which is what this church is always all about. I'm always trying to figure out how to do that fresh start piece. You may mess up on your elevator situation. But guess what God is still going to do? He's going to still bless you. He's going to still be gracious to you. He's going to still be merciful to you. Here's what I want to know right now. Don't raise your hand. I want to ask this. Is there anybody up in here that messed up? You know you messed up. Been trying to figure out how to deal with your mess up. Don't raise your hand. But you know God's going to help you make it to where you've been trying to go. Though you messed up. That relationship can still be what you want it to be, though you messed up. You can still get that position that you open again. Watch this. Though you messed up. You can still go to the next level. Though you messed up. Let us pray.